Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So fall is right around the corner and I am so excited for so many different reasons, but in today's video I wanted to do a get ready with me featuring some of my go-to products for the fall season. I always switch up my makeup seasonally and just kind of use some older favorites, incorporate some newer favorites, so that is what I have for you guys today. I'm going to film this look, obviously, but I am so excited because today's video is sponsored by E.L.F Cosmetics, and I have loved E.L.F Cosmetics for years. I have so many E.L.F related videos on my channel because they truly are one of my favorite brands. I love that they're always doing something new and innovative and interesting, and they have so many different products to choose from. They have skincare and makeup and brushes. They're cruelty-free and vegan, which is amazing, and I love that no matter what type of makeup you're into, they have something for you. Whether you do something more subtle and natural and very light coverage, or you like something a little bit more intense and glamorous and full coverage, you'll be able to find products that work well for you. So for today's video, I was able to choose some of their best-selling products, their most iconic products to create today's look, and so many of their best-selling products are things that I use on a daily basis, so I was so excited to film today's video. I also incorporated some newer favorites, some older favorites, but if you guys are interested in shopping the look, I will link everything in the description box below so you guys can check the products out for yourself. But let's jump into it and I'll kick it off with my base. Okay, so to kick things off, I did apply my E.L.F Hello Hydration Face Cream. This is one of my favorite E.L.F skincare products. I actually have quite a few E.L.F skincare products that I really enjoy. I'm planning on filming an entire video, but I think they released this product around this time last year, and I really fell in love with it for the fall and the winter seasons because it is a very moisturizing product, but it's very lightweight and comfortable. It sinks into the skin really quickly, but it leaves your skin feeling really smooth and soft, so it's perfect for the daytime before you apply makeup because your makeup will go on top really nicely, but I also like using it at night. I applied it about 10 minutes ago because I do work my moisturizer into my skin pretty thoroughly, which causes my skin to look a little bit red, so I usually wait about 10 minutes before I go in with the rest of my makeup. So I've been using the E.L.F Oil Control Primer Mist for the majority of the summertime, and it is more of a summer essential for me, but I do have pretty oily skin even in the fall and the winter, so I like this product because it is very lightweight. It feels like a water on the skin, so I do find that it gives my skin a little bit of extra moisture, but it still keeps my skin from getting too oily throughout the day. So I just take a small amount of this and I press it wherever I get super oily, mainly around my nose and then right in my T-zone. So for foundation, I am going in with the E.L.F Flawless Finish Foundation. I have the shade Vanilla, which is normally my perfect shade. It is light with golden undertones and it matches me perfectly the majority of the year, but I did get a slight tan during the month of August, so I've been mixing in a small amount of the shade Sand. This is actually a rediscovered favorite. I had this foundation in my everyday makeup drawer because it was in my collection, but I had the wrong shade, so I didn't find that I was using it very often, and I'm glad that I put it in my everyday makeup drawer because lately I've really been into very lightweight foundations that give me more of a medium coverage look. I love a good medium coverage foundation that builds up so I can build it in areas where I feel like I need a little extra coverage, and that's why I really like this foundation. It is very, very lightweight, so it's really comfortable on the skin. It has a nice soft satin finish, so it's not overly matte, it's not overly dewy, which is why I think it works well for all different skin types. I've heard from those of you that have dry skin that like it. I have oily skin and I like it. This foundation blends out really well on the skin, but like I said, it is more of a medium coverage foundation. So as you can see, it definitely covers up redness, it evens out my skin tone, but it does allow my freckles to show through, which, as you guys might know, is something that I've been trying to embrace a little bit more this year. So I just wanted to go in and apply one layer before I go back in and build it up just a little bit to show you guys how well it builds. So I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more on my cheeks and show you guys how well it builds. If you have any areas on your face where you do want to build it up, it is nice because you can do that and it builds well without looking too heavy on the skin. So I think that looks pretty good. I think I'll stop there. So that's how it looks on my skin. As you guys can see, it looks so pretty. It's such a gorgeous, soft, natural finish, and it did even out my skin tone. It covered redness, it covered acne scarring, but it still allows my freckles to show through. I got a lot of freckles on my forehead this summer, and you can see them. I feel like my skin looks like skin. It doesn't look super full coverage or heavy or overly matte. It looks really pretty on the skin, but it still gives me the coverage that I want. So I am going to go in with a little bit of concealer. This is the E.L.F 16 Hour Camo Concealer, which is one of my favorites. I currently wear the shade light beige, which is slightly darker than the one that I was wearing earlier in the summer because, again, I got a slight tan. So I did have to switch up a few of my base products. This comes in 18 different shades. It is one of my favorite e.l.f. products. It just wears really well throughout the day. I tend to prefer more of a full coverage concealer, especially now that I've been going in with a little bit more of like a medium coverage foundation, because I think it just balances out the foundation really well. But like I said, this is a full coverage concealer that blends out well and stays in place so well. If you struggle with really dark under eye circles, or you do have really obvious acne scarring, or just anything on your face that needs a little bit more of a full coverage formula, this is perfect. It's a very lightweight formula, so it doesn't feel heavy. And as you guys know, I do have under eye wrinkles. So it doesn't enhance those wrinkles, which is my issue with a lot of concealers. A lot of matte concealers tend to look very drying under the eyes, which just doesn't look very flattering in the end. But I just enjoy this concealer. When I filmed my e.l.f. favorites video, I told you guys this concealer is just a game changer. It's $6. It works so well. And again, if you're just looking for a high quality full coverage concealer, this is the one. So I'm just taking whatever's left on my brush and just lightly going over my eyelids, and then I'm going to set that into place. Okay, so to set my under eye concealer, I'm just using the Urban Decay Velvetizer, which is technically a translucent mix-in medium, but I always use it to set my under eye concealer just because it is a very lightweight powder. Okay, and then I'm going to set the rest of my face in place with my Flower Beauty Light Illusion Perfecting Powder. I actually got this e.l.f. Total Face Sponge at Rite Aid the other day. My little pug, she loves these face sponges, and she'll just run in my room and find them. I swear I can put them up so high, and there will be that one random day that I'll forget and I'll just like leave it on my desk and she'll run in and grab it. She never eats them, but she just rips them up. So I picked this one up on a whim and I love it. It is so soft and so bouncy. So I like to apply my powder with a sponge. I always find that a sponge tends to give the powder a little bit more of a flawless look. Like, you can definitely go in with a brush, but when I do that, I feel like my powder tends to look powdery. So I love using a sponge, especially with a good pressed powder, because I feel like it just literally presses the powder into the skin rather than dusting it all over your face. So for bronzer, I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Primer-Infused Bronzer in the shade Forever Sun-Kissed, which is one of my favorite bronzers. It's very, very blendable, very smooth. I'm just going to bronze up my cheeks, my forehead a little bit. I am going to go in with a good amount of bronzer just to add a lot of warmth back to the face. But this is a nice soft formula, so it just looks very natural on the skin. So I think that's enough. Let me just go in with a large fluffy brush and just blend it out. For blush, I'm going to keep it a little bit more natural. I'm using the Primer-Infused Blush in the shade Always Cheeky. I'm just going to really focus this on the apples of my cheeks. Again, this is a very smooth, blendable formula. It is nice because you can build it up, and they do have deeper shades. I believe this is the lightest shade that they have. I find that I've been enjoying a little bit more of a dense brush for blush application. This one's not overly dense, but it's nice because it does give you more targeted application. I also like this brush for bronzer if I'm doing more of a like contoured, chiseled look. But I've always loved e.l.f.'s brushes. They have so many great options. They have face brushes, eye brushes, so no matter what you're looking for, you'll be able to find something that works. The Flawless Face Brush is a great option because you can use it for so many different things. I have like 3 of these because I use it for bronzer, I use it for blush. Lately, I've been using it for highlight, so my blush might look a little bit shimmery because I've just been taking this brush and giving myself more of like a diffused highlight appearance or highlight application. But it's also great for powder as well. They are synthetic, so they are 100% vegan, which is really, really great. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. This one is in the shade Diffused Light. And I'm just going to use that to kind of like brighten up this area of my face. Sometimes I have a tendency to go a little bit crazy with my cheek products, so I just like my under eye to be really bright and soft. So before I do my eyes, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of highlighter. This is their Metallic Flare Highlighter in the shade 24 Karat Gold. I have been meaning to try these for such a long time, and I actually picked this product up for the video specifically because it is something that I've been wanting to try, and I've really been enjoying it. It is a very gorgeous, soft highlighter. And the nice part about this is that you can go in with more of a soft hand. Like I have been using this Flawless face brush for a really diffused application, or you can go in with more of a small brush for a targeted application. So if you do that, it looks really intense and glowy on the skin. This is nice because it's not a powdery highlighter. I'm just going over it to make it look even a little bit more subtle. So it just melts into the skin so well. Like it doesn't look powdery or heavy on the skin. And if you go in with like a damp sponge, you can get intense color payoff. I'm not usually into like intensely blinding highlights, but this is more of like a versatile formula, so you could really do whatever you want with it if you want more of a subtle look or more of an intense look. Okay, I'm going to do my brows off camera just because I've been doing the same brow routine for probably a year at this point, so it gets a little bit repetitive, and then I will be right back to do my eyes. Okay, I am back. I did my brows and I also applied the Urban Decay Primer Potion on my eyes. So today I'm using the Anastasia Jackie Aina eyeshadow palette. I've been wanting to use this on camera because this palette just screams fall to me. There are two different looks that I'm thinking about doing. I either want to use some of the pink and purple shades because those are some of my favorite colors to wear, but I think I'm more so leaning toward like a typical fall look with the warm toned browns and then the gold all over the lid. I think that's what I'm going to go for. But if you do want to see me use this palette and create more of like a pink purple look, let me know and I can definitely film that. I just realized there is not a matte shadow in the palette, so I'm just going to take a little bit of powder and set that primer potion into place before I go in with the eyeshadow. Okay, I'm going to kick it off with the shade Ginger and blend that right into the crease and then work it up as a transition color. Now the shadows in this palette are very pigmented. I've used this palette a few times and I do love Anastasia shadows, but I do feel like this one is a little bit better than the other Anastasia palettes that I have in my collection just because the shadows are so rich, but at the same time they blend out very easily. Like this entire eye look will probably take me maybe 10 minutes total. Then I'm just going to take a little bit of the shade Edges and focus that in the crease. It's a little bit deeper than the shade that I just used as a transition, but it's going to add a lot of warmth to the eye and just a little bit of depth. So I know it's not technically fall, but have you guys been able to do anything fall related? Where I live, it feels like fall. We went to the park this morning and I think it was like 60 degrees, so it was perfect. There were leaves everywhere and it just feels like fall. I do love the fall season, but I know it's only a matter of time before winter hits where I live. But in the meantime, I am going to soak in all of the fall activities during September and October while I can. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of the shade Credit, again, because this is such a pigmented palette. I definitely want to go in with a really small amount. I'm not looking to make this look too intense and smoky. I just want to add a little bit more definition on the outer corner and then up into the crease. Just going to take a little bit more and blend it out. All right, and then I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side, and then I'll go in with the lid shade. Okay, last time I'm going in with a little bit more on this eye. I just wanted to make it slightly more dramatic. I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I always have intentions to go in and do something like really light and natural, and then I just get carried away. Like I have fun using the eyeshadow or the makeup in general, and all of a sudden I'm like left with like a really intense smoky eye. Okay, before I go in with the lid shade, I'm actually just going to do the lower lash line. So I'm just going to take the shade Ginger, which is the lightest out of the ones that I was using. And I'm just going to blend that on the lower lash line and just kind of connect it to the outer corner, just so everything looks very smooth and seamless. And then I'm just going to take the smallest amount of the shade Edges and just really keep that close to the lashes. So I'm going to go in with the shade Zam. This is an intense gold metallic shade. I think that it has some glitter mixed in, and I'm just going to press this onto the eye. It's so glittery and intense. So I would just recommend using your finger and just really pressing it onto the lid. If you tend to get a lot of fallout with like glittery metallic shades, you might want to use more of a sticky base, but I think for the most part, it does stay in place pretty well. Okay, there's a little bit of fallout, nothing too crazy. So I'm just going to lightly brush it away. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my Urban Decay Perversion Waterproof Liquid Liner and line my upper lash line and do a slight wing. It's so impossible for me to be able to do this on camera because I have to get so close to the mirror and then my camera just doesn't focus. So I'll try to capture it, but if not, I'll skip to the next step. Okay, so I'm almost finished. I'm just going to use the Flower Beauty Warrior Princess Mascara on my bottom lashes. And then I do use this to kind of hit the very tip of my lash extensions. I do have lash extensions on, but it's getting to the point where I need to get them filled so they're not looking as full as they did at one point. I know they say you shouldn't use mascara. Some people say it's fine. Some people say use a lash extension safe mascara. Honestly, I just kind of hit the ends of them with the mascara, and then when I'm removing my makeup at night anyways, it's not a big deal. I do not recommend going from like root to tip with the mascara if you have lash extensions on, because that really isn't good for them and they can kind of get caught in the roots. But if you're just hitting like the very tip, I find that I haven't had any issues, but it's totally up to you. So for the lips, I'm going to keep it very simple. I will be using the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in the shade Iconic Nude just to line and define my lips. I love this product for more natural days because it does allow me to define my lip line, but it looks very natural and it also grips onto whatever lip product I place on top. So a lot of times I'll just take this product and line my lips and then go in with a lip gloss rather than layering a lipstick and then a lip gloss or a liquid lipstick. I love using this as the base and just adding a little bit of gloss. And then to finish things off, I'm going to take the E.L.F. lip lacquer. I have the shade Clear. They do have some other shades on the website, but again, when I want more of a natural look, I literally just take this lip liner and a light clear or sheer lip gloss and apply this on top. I almost forgot, I'm just going to take a little bit of that E.L.F. Metallic Flare highlighter in the shade 24 Karat Gold and place that on the inner corner. And then I think that will officially be the final step. Okay guys, that is the final look. I had so much fun filming today's video. I am so excited for fall related makeup, so I really wanted to do something very fall themed, but honestly you can use these products any time of the year. It doesn't have to just be fall, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want to try out any of the products that I featured or you're curious about them, I will list everything in the description box below as always and include links so you guys can find out more information, but I'll see you guys very soon with a new video. Bye!